Allah, the more we will get back. The more we will get back. So we should, my recommendation would be do it on silver. However, if someone wishes to do it on gold, it is still permissible. Yes. The house that a person is living in, is it considered as a commodity to see if one has nisab? The answer to this is no. The house that you're living in is your basic necessity. If you have another house that you're renting, okay, or that you've made an investment in, then that would not be considered that would be considered in the calculation, but not the house that you're living in. Your basic necessities are your home, the car that you use to transport yourself, not the car for business, your own car that you use for yourself, and your basic clothing, furniture, the basics that we need. Beyond this, savings, additional commodities, stocks that you have in terms of, property that you're selling. Okay, you have items that you have purchased for resale. These are things that are beyond a person's necessities and basics. So if you calculate those things and they reach the nisab or more, then it's necessary for you to do the qurbani. Otherwise, not. Any other questions before we conclude? Okay, yes. Yes, this is written in the books of fiqh. The brother's question is that let's say someone doesn't have nisab, but then 10 people give this person money because this person is poor. Now he calculates his money, it's more than nisab. Now he's become wealthy. According to the Quran and the Sunnah, he's become wealthy. He has to do qurbani now if he has nisab or more on the days of 10th, 11th and 12th. Okay. Few more questions from the sisters and inshallah we'll conclude. If the day of Arafah is on the day of Eid for the Hujjaj, can we fast? Okay, so there is a difference of opinion, to tell you the truth, that is eid-ul-adha connected to Arafah and Hajj? Majority of the scholars say it is not connected. And the reason for this is Hajj became necessary 7 years after the Prophet ﷺ traveled from Mecca to Medina. But the obligation of eid-ul-adha, it became necessary at the time of migration. So for 7 years the Prophet ﷺ celebrated eid-ul-adha, he performed the Eid Salah, and he based it on the calendar. What did he base it on? On the calendar. So eid-ul-adha would fall on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. Hajj became necessary 7 years after. So this means that eid-ul-adha is not really connected to Hajj. Okay? It's actually connected to the day. Okay? So based on this principle, if Hajj is going on in Saudi Arabia and it's the day of Arafah, and over here it's the 9th, according to the calendar that we follow here, it's the 9th. Okay? Then if we are following the calendar and it's our 9th day, then we can fast. Okay? And it doesn't mean that if the date over there is different, then we can't fast here. Okay? We would consider it based on our date. Mufti Taqi Uthmani, Hafidhahullah, has written this very explicitly, and many other scholars have mentioned that that connection is not there to answer that question. There's another question here. If you only have 6 people, can you divide it in a cow? Yes, I mentioned this in my presentation, that 7 shares are permissible. However, if 3 people get together, 2 people get together, 5 people get together, 6 people get together, it's permissible as long as everyone's intention is qurbani, udhiyyah. So how will you divide it? You have to make a decision that, okay, 3 people, are we going to have equal shares? Or is one person saying, I'm having 2 shares, the other one is saying, I have 3 shares, and the third person is saying, I'm having the remainder. So you make your decision from the beginning and then you go ahead and do it. So that is permissible. Okay, another question about cutting the hair or trimming the hair when a person intends to sacrifice. Does this include waxing and threading? Yes, it does. Okay. And another question here. I'm a student who is currently taking OSAP. So this person is in debt. And I believe I have more than 87 grams of gold. So is Qurbani mandatory upon me? Good question. So if a person is in a overwhelming debt, priority is they're supposed to pay their debt. So the proper instruction, if you really want to follow it, sister, is that you should sell your gold and pay your OSAP. That's the proper instruction. But is Qurbani necessary upon you? No. If you're in an overwhelming debt, okay, there's two types of debts. The scholars, the ulama, they say there's a short-term debt and there's a long-term debt. A long-term debt is that you're paying in installments, okay, and it won't be finished until another 20, 30 years, like a mortgage or something like that. So if it's a long-term debt, what you do is you just minus 1 month's payment. And according to another group, 1 year's payment. And then if you have nisab, then you have to give zakah, you have to do qurbani. But if it doesn't meet the nisab, then you don't have to do qurbani. So in this case, to answer your question, is that qurbani is not necessary upon you because you're in a debt, and your priority is to pay the debt. But if you wish to do qurbani, then you can. You will get the reward. First 2 days, can someone sacrifice in the evening or in the night? Yes. When we're talking about sacrificing on the 10th, the 11th and the 12th, it can be during the day or it can be during the night. The last limit is the last day. As soon as Maghrib sets in, then it's finished. Then you cannot sacrifice anymore. And one last question here is, if you only have gold or silver, can you count the gold as silver so you can give zakah? Yes, you can do that. If there is a jewelry where there's a mixture of gold and silver, okay, and you want to take the weight of whatever will give more benefit to the miskin, in this case the silver, it can be done, so that it will facilitate qurbani for you. And there was another question, can you recommend a place to do qurbani? There's many farms. If you want specific details of address, phone numbers, then I can provide that for you in the office, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. So let us conclude by making dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our sitting here. May Allah bless us with His mercy and His bounty, and may Allah accept our sacrifices. May Allah enable us to value these blessed days, and may Allah grant us success in this world and the everlasting life of the hereafter. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulihi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.